Reishi is a very broad action in the body. It has no side effects that are really apparent, so it's quite safe. You can take quite large amounts of it, and it generally has a stimulating effect on the immune system. And of course, the immune system has effect on pretty well every other chronic disease state, whether it's asthma, whether it's allergies, or whether it's cancer.
I have more energy. I wondered where it had gone. It's back. And I just feel more comfortable taking it. I know with people I told about this product, they go, what? A red mushroom? But you know what? It's amazing. The properties in it, I can't explain it. I'm not a scientist. All I know is it works for me, and I have a good feeling it'll work for you.
And I was amazed. It was like 3 days in, and I woke up one morning and I felt good. I felt like I had slept better throughout the night, even though I'd still been up several times. I also felt like I was able to deal with stress better. I just felt calmer and less anxious, and it also improved my mood. So that, I feel, made me a better mom because I was happier and had more fun with the kids. And I highly recommended reishi to any mom, any busy parent.
It will start to bring some incredible energy within your body.
In conjunction with my work, my training program, and I'm working out 6-7 days a week since beginning of February. I've been quite successful. I've lost over 50 pounds, and the reishi has certainly played a part in it. It hasn't been exclusively responsible for it, but it's played a part in that. It's really allowed me to focus, to have the energy, and to just have it seemed, I don't know if the workout and everything, but you have a much more positive frame of mind.
So since I've been taking the reishi mushrooms, I've noticed a much more stable energy flow throughout the day. Now, you know, having coffee in the morning, you get a nice spike and then you have a drop off. Certainly doing drugs, which I don't recommend, you'll have the same thing. So what you want is in the food you take into your body and any sort of supplementation, the reishi mushrooms being one of those, is a sustainable energy over the course of time. And most people have significant drop-offs during the day, especially if they have a lot of stress in their lives, if they're working a lot, if they're not sleeping enough or eating well. So you're trying to take as many things into the body optimally that will give you this nice clean energy burn throughout the day, and that's what I've noticed.
All of a sudden you start to notice, I'm feeling really energetic, I'm sleeping better, I'm managing stress better, I don't have the colds and flus that everybody around me does.
I found people have actually seen vitality in me, even though my life has a lot of the outside stress.
What is this reishi? This ancient mushroom that Chinese medical practitioners have known about for centuries. This mushroom, which emperors over the various dynasties would send their servants far into the mountain ranges to search, believing that the consumption of this reishi would grant them eternal youth and enhanced health. Reishi, known as lingzi in China, has been known to the Asian world for over 2,000 years. Reishi has been ingrained in Oriental art and culture because of its prestigious status in the traditional Chinese medicine. Since the first Chinese dynasty, paintings, embroideries, buildings, and sculptures of the gods and immortals have depicted reishi as a symbol of divinity, longevity, and good fortune. Its miraculous health-enhancing applications have been employed by Oriental cultures for centuries, but has only been introduced to the Western world in the last 30 years.
At 52, I guess I'm going through menopause. Well, the bleeding wouldn't stop. I did not want to basically go to a doctor because I didn't believe that a pharmaceutical product is going to correct this. I decided that I need to do something because the iron was depleting intensively. I happened to go into a Lonsdale health food store, and a consultant recommended that I take reishi.
How does reishi work? What are its tangible benefits? Throughout the ages, the consumption of red reishi has been linked to the treatment of a vast range of diseases, common ailments, and conditions. In addition to increased energy, reishi is known to aid conditions related to blood circulation, alleviate heart conditions, restore liver functions, regulate digestive disorders, and lung disorders.
I have about a 20-year history with reishi, and again, as we started providing natural supplements and natural products for chronic disease states that we really don't have any good drugs for, a number of cancer patients started coming and requesting reishi, and so I would buy reishi in large amounts. This is the reishi extract concentrates, and I was seeing some very good response to so-called terminal patients. The reishi certainly has opened my eyes to the potential of the natural products.
How does this seeming magic mushroom eradicate so many human sicknesses? The answer seems to lie in reishi's ability to help the human body find balance. It is now common knowledge that stress contributes enormously to the degradation of physical and mental health. It is heard often that there is more stress now than in previous generations. Statistics of rising rates of various diseases point to stress. Poor diet, toxins, environmental pollutants, lack of sleep, and illness itself are stress creators, or stressors. What is it about reishi and its healing properties, and how can physical balance and well-being be found from this mushroom?
Red reishi mushroom supplements work so well because we've really investigated what's in that essence. We found out it is unique compounds, polysaccharides. They're basically adaptogens, and we use that word adaptogen in natural medicine to signify something that is so unique in the plant world. We've never been able to manufacture it otherwise. It's the ability of a plant to be able to provide just what's needed. Now, an adaptogen actually harmonizes everything in the body. It provides what the body needs, so it'll balance out blood sugar, blood pressure, everything.
Polysaccharides are a group of immune-modulating plant compounds that are absolutely incredible at keeping the immune system robust. Beta-glucan is probably the most important of these polysaccharides, and the beautiful thing is it's found in the highest quantities in the Japanese red reishi. Japanese red reishi essence is the highest concentration of really the medicinal values found in red reishi.
For instance, if you have low blood sugar, the adaptogen normalizes your blood sugar. If you have high blood pressure, it helps lower that blood pressure. It's very powerful. That's where the therapeutic benefit has been realized, and red reishi mushroom, the essence of it, really knows how to go after that.
The majority of people usually notice red reishi within the first few days to the first week.
Well, you have to realize that, there isn't one single ingredient that can be pointed to in reishi that is a cure-all. It's synergistic. The whole of the body is the sum of its parts working together. What reishi seems to do is allow the body to balance itself so that all the organs are working together and strengthening each other. What makes people susceptible to illness is a weakness somewhere in their system. Something breaks down and presto, you have an invasive disease.
Balancing of the organs, they all work together in tandem, really. When you get the liver and the kidney and the intestine, if you get too much accumulation in one, it immediately dumps the problem on the next one. So if we can sort of keep and minimize, I think, the stress on one particular organ, then it doesn't create more stress on the other two, and particularly the liver, as it picks up toxins from the intestinal tract and loads it up, and then all of a sudden it gets to a crisis point and it dumps it on the kidneys, so to speak. And then you have people not excreting the things as quickly as they should. There's a whole backup in the cells. So by balancing and keeping everything pretty well efficient all the time and in harmony, then you don't get this sort of jam up in organs.
Detoxification is like getting the poisons out of your body. And when you take reishi mushrooms, that is an assistance to getting the liver cleansed out, is to removing chemicals, to removing other byproducts that are stored in the fat, to help remove those. All of those byproducts that are in the system basically take away from energy. So if you start detoxifying, you start removing those things that take away from energy, thus optimizing the body's ability to perform more consistently.
In the last 30 years, Researchers have studied reishi and its effects, and today there is a great body of scientific evidence mounting from Europe, Asia, and North America about this previously unheard of mushroom. The secret to red reishi's healing properties comes down to this. Red reishi mushrooms are primarily composed of complex carbohydrates called polysaccharides, triterpenoids, proteins, and amino acids. Polysaccharides, the most active ingredient in red reishi, are well known to be responsible for strengthening the body's immune system.
See, in ancient times, reishi grew in the wild. Reishi was coveted because not only did it possess healing properties, but also because it created very few side effects, and as a result it was considered to be vastly superior to other herbs. Now, by superior, I mean this. Back in around 206 BC, during the Han Dynasty, a legendary herbalist by the name of Shen Nong documented 365 species of plants and herbs and categorized them into superior, average, and fair. Now, by a superior grade plant, it meant that the range of ailments it could treat were greater and broader than those weaker specimens, and in addition had little or no long-term side effects. In the study that was conducted by Shen Nong, reishi was even superior to the well-known ginseng. The problem with reishi was its rarity. They just weren't exactly sprouting up all over the place like weeds, so for the most part, they were reserved for royalty or the immensely wealthy. About 30 years ago, the Japanese began cultivating reishi in an intensely controlled process. Today, the Japanese have the reputation for having perfected this method, and no other country has come anywhere close to doing what they can do.
The best cultivation method originated in Japan, with the technique of culturing reishi on Japanese oak logs. The process begins with the culturing of a high-quality reishi fungus strain in test tubes for about 85 days. The germinating fungi are then inserted into holes drilled into selected high-grade logs between 26 and 30 years old. These logs are then placed into a greenhouse and buried under nutrient-rich soil for 5 months. Growing conditions require continued monitoring to ensure a high-grade quality reishi. Temperature, humidity, carbon dioxide, light intensity, and nutrients are all closely monitored to maintain optimum growing conditions. The greenhouse is sprayed with moisture daily to stimulate growth and maintain a humidity of 90 to 95%. All Japanese companies are required to follow strict agricultural safety guidelines and abstain from the use of pesticide products. The plants are grown for another 100 days until they mature to full size. Eventually, the mushrooms are allowed to release their spores into the air and left for another 2 weeks before being harvested. Once harvested, the reishi is cut and boiled for 2 hours, and this is repeated 3 times to extract the highest properties from the red reishi. The extract is then converted from liquid form to powder using a low-temperature vacuum condenser and an air-sprayed dryer. The powder is then dried to be transferred into capsules, which are then packaged for sale.
Well, the best advice I can give is you've got to know what you're buying. Since the public began looking for reishi products, companies have jumped on the bandwagon to cash in on the merits of reishi. The fact is, Japan is the only country that has such strict growing regulations, and as a result produces the highest quality reishi. Now, the importance of this is that some manufacturers have begun labeling their packages in Japanese, even though the product has been grown in China or Korea or even North America, where none of these stringent growing controls exist. Secondly, there are other methods of growing reishi mushrooms, wood boxes, glass bottles, and these were developed so that the reishi could grow more quickly. But if it's true that the quality of the reishi is only as good as its nutrients it absorbs, then these methods are pointless because the mushrooms are gaining no nutrient value if they're just sitting in a glass jar or a wooden box. While this might mean a slightly cheaper product for the consumer, unless you see a Japanese Reishi Association sticker on the package, you're simply not getting authentic, high-quality reishi. What you're probably getting are capsules that are filled with chopped up bits of reishi, that are not bioavailable. They're very hard to digest because they simply haven't been processed properly. Look, just look for the JRA sticker and you'll know you're getting the highest quality reishi product in the world. Here are the 5 things you should look for. The country of origin. Is it Japan? The quality and production standards of the Japanese products are unmatched by other Asian and North American products. Red Reishi Essence. It's the most potent and the most bioavailable. Color. Dark chocolate coloring reflects the natural color of reishi mushrooms. Taste. The more bitter, the better. And JRA, the Japanese Reishi Association silver hologram on the packaging, lets you know it's the real thing.
And the companies I look for are the ones that do the essence, the herbal extracts. They'll say it's such and such an extract, or there's 250 milligrams of pure essence of reishi, requiring 5 pounds of reishi to make, say, 1 pound of essence. So generally the literature will tell you this.
Traditional Chinese medicine has always taken the long view. It's always looked at prevention. And Western medicine, on the other hand, is more crisis-oriented. It does that very well, but it's really at its limits now to resolve the many chronic ailments that people have, and the ones that are just kind of nagging and bothersome, things like low energy and not coping with stress very well. For that, you have to adjust your lifestyle the best you can. But the best proactive single ingredient that I've ever found is the essence of red reishi.
I would highly recommend red reishi. Actually, it gives you a calm within yourself. It connects you with your body.
So to work harder requires greater amounts of energy and more sustainable energy. Instead of these ups and downs which a cup of coffee will give you, the reishi seem to give a more sustainable, longer-term energy boost that doesn't have the drop-off. On the recovery side, that's about getting the metabolites, the waste product that comes from working out of the system as fast as possible. Drinking water is one of those things that helps. But also these products, the reishi mushrooms, are also very beneficial in terms of helping to clear out those metabolites, that the lactic acid, etc., that get in the way of recovering to come back and perform better later.
With the reishi, it was great because it gave me nice constant energy patterns through the day, which allowed me to be more positive about wanting to go do my workouts. It helped during the workouts. And so that was it was a huge benefit.
I work a few days a week. I've also just renovated a house and moved, and it's been a crazy amount of stress, and I really feel that these mushrooms have helped me get through this without just totally leaving my nerves shot and completely frazzled.
You know, I think science is finding out that one of the things that we all have to be aware of is the immune system and staying healthy. And I think we're all trying to do that more today than ever. I found that red reishi mushroom essence really does give me energy, but also works on my immune system. There's no doubt about that. And why don't you try it? I mean, they came to me and said, would you try this? You know, just see what happened. My energy level went up. I started to feel better. And, you know, staying healthy is a very important thing, especially this time of the year. So may I recommend that you try red reishi. It's an amazing supplement.
It's called the Emperor's Medicine. And if anybody could pick the best of the best, it's the Emperor. And so they certainly have written documentations older than 2,000 years on the benefits of reishi, and the side effects of reishi, there's not much. So when you're talking about clinical double-blind studies trying to prove how good it is, quite honestly, you don't need them with the 2,000-year history of taking care of people. The Chinese medicine system, the doctors are paid when the patient is healthy, not when the patient is sick.
Though reishi has existed for thousands of years and has remained largely unheard of because of its rarity, it has now recently become available to Westerners and is quickly gaining immense notoriety for its potency and effectiveness in treating a large number of conditions. To find out more, visit us at www.realmagicmushroom.com.